Music Arts 7, Lesson 5. Contemporary and Emerging Southeast Asian Animation and Film. Learning Competency. After this lesson, you must be able to discuss how representative contemporary and emerging animation and film of the Philippines and selected Southeast Asian countries influence their cultural identity and diversity. Evaluate representative creative works of the Philippines and selected Southeast Asian countries based on cultural influences in identified subjects, themes, concepts, mediums, processes, techniques, and/or practices. Objectives. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to discuss how representative contemporary and emerging films of selected Southeast Asian countries influence their cultural identity and diversity. Distinguish the subjects, themes, concepts, mediums, processes, techniques, and practices applied in these films. Produce creative works inspired by Southeast Asian films, showcasing cultural identity and diversity. Motivational activity. Film poster mystery. Instructions. Show students various movie posters, without titles, from contemporary Southeast Asian films. Ask students to guess the country of origin and the film's possible genre or theme based on the poster. Discuss how visual elements in the posters reflect cultural aspects of the countries. Let's discuss. Southeast Asian cinema is dynamic and eclectic, representing the cultural and historic tapestry in their rich forms. Each genre of film in itself a vehicle for storytelling, heritage preservation, and relating to the many different aspects of society might display all this in its unique way. An introduction as follows discusses the various types of Southeast Asian films. Feature film. Description. Feature films are full-length movies with a running time generally ranging from 70 to 180 minutes and narrating a complete story. In Southeast Asia, the feature film commonly narrates a unique cultural narrative concerning the social issues and historic context of the region. Cultural influences. Southeast Asian feature films often represent the various cultures of their region, traditions, and social issues. Example: Thai feature films may explore themes in terms of Buddhist philosophy, while Indonesian films could delve into themes involving local folklore and mythology. Subject and theme. Themes often involved can be on family-related subjects, social struggles, historical events, and political issues. It features historical events to comprehend political and social impact. Some concepts and techniques feature films use include narration, character development, and visual style. Such techniques as bright color palettes and traditional music can serve to heighten more culturally engaged storytelling. Oro Plata Mata, Philippines. Oro Plata Mata, 1982, directed by Pete Galaw, is an epic historical drama that has become a classic in Philippine cinema. The title, which translates to gold, silver, death, refers to a traditional Filipino superstition about the cycle of life and fortune. The film explores the brutal impact of World War II on the lives of two aristocratic families in Negros, the Ojedas and the Lorenzos, whose sheltered existence is shattered by the war. Cultural reflection. Oro Plata Mata is a historical drama set during World War II, exploring themes of survival, class struggle, and the loss of innocence in a war-torn country. The film reflects Filipino values, the impact of historical events on the national psyche, and the country's social hierarchy. Themes, techniques, and practices. Common themes include family, social issues, and historical events. Techniques often involve in-depth character development, realistic dialogue, and dramatic storytelling. 2. Short film. Description. Films that run 40 minutes or less. Often genre-specific or conceptually driven, this category showcases new talent and experimental works. Cultural influences. Short films have a great opportunity to showcase some of the slices of cultural life, everyday activities, and issues that most locals take for granted. They can study cultural or social problems or strange rituals, but only in a confined short format. Themes and subjects. Short films may address personal issues, social concerns, or abstraction. Concepts and techniques. Due to their short duration, the techniques and styles used in the film are more innovative. Most filmmakers adopt symbolic imagery and minimalistic dialogue to put across strong messages. A Man Trembles, 2021, Singapore. The film follows the story of a father who is profoundly affected by the economic instability of the late 1990s. As he confronts the uncertainties of his own existence, the film blends elements of horror and surrealism to explore themes of fear, economic despair, and the fragility of the human condition. The narrative creates an unsettling atmosphere, reflecting both personal and societal anxieties. Themes. A Man Trembles addresses themes such as existential crisis, financial instability, and the impact of economic collapse on personal identity and family relationships. The film uses surreal imagery and horror elements to delve into the psychological and emotional state of its protagonist. Style. The film is noted for its distinctive visual style and atmospheric tension. It combines traditional horror motifs with a socio-political backdrop, creating a unique cinematic experience that challenges viewers' perceptions. 3. Historical films. Description. Films depicting some historical event or figure frequently represent a combination of fact and dramatization. Cultural influences. Historical films generally represent the history and heritage of Southeast Asia. These may showcase a colonized influence, independence, and their indigenous practices. Subjects and themes. These are subjects on wartime experiences, revolution movements, and historical personalities. Concept and techniques. Historical films adopt period costumes, settings, and properties to reconstruct historical contexts. In this regard, some techniques involved include the artistic craftsmanship of set design, which is highly important to support historical research. The Legend of Suriyothai, 2001, Thailand. Set in the Ayutthaya Kingdom of the 16th century, The Legend of Suriyothai is a biography of Queen Suriyothai, a noblewoman who rises to the title of Queen Consort of King Maha Chakraphat. The movie traces her life, underlining more her bravery and self-sacrifice in a period of great political turmoil and war. The central event depicted in the film is the Burmese-Siamese War, during which the queen famously donned armor and went into battle in defense of her kingdom. During one of the main scenes in the film, Suriyothai died in battle, saving the life of her husband, the king, against massacres by the Burmese. This heroic sacrifice earned her a place as a national heroine in Thai history. Cultural reflection. The Legend of Suriyothai depicts the life of Queen Suriyothai, a Thai heroine who sacrificed her life to save her kingdom. The film reflects Thailand's historical pride, reverence for royalty, and the valorization of self-sacrifice for the greater good. Themes, techniques, and practices. Common themes include heroism, patriotism, and the impact of historical events on a nation's identity. Techniques often involve detailed period costumes, authentic settings, and epic narratives. 4. Biographical films. Description. Films that account for the lives of real individuals. Cultural influences. Biographical films may be about the life of famous figures in Southeast Asia as their cultural values mirror on those persons' contribution to society. Subjects and themes. Subjects range from influential leaders, artists to common people that have caused a ripple in society. Concepts and techniques. These are films that include storytelling techniques combined with both factual and dramatic elements. Techniques used include interviews, flashbacks, and dramatizations. Bonifacio, 2014, Philippines, is a Filipino historical drama directed by Enzo Williams. The film is really precise in its close-up details of life and legacy of one of the most important figures to the Philippine Revolution against Spanish colonial rule, Andrés Bonifacio. The film was one way of prodding into the contributions which Bonifacio contributed to the country's fight for independence and put some commentaries on how history remembered him. Themes: patriotism and sacrifice. This film has exulted on patriotism and hardcore sacrifices that Bonifacio and his co-revolutionaries are trying to fight for independence in the Philippines. Heroism and legacy. It discusses how the contributions of Bonifacio have led to his being overshadowed by other historical figures, especially in which he is placed in Philippine remembrance. Historicism can be seen in how the movie subtly colorises the way history has been penned down, questioning the authenticity of why Bonifacio is always out of context as the first president of the Philippines while he was a leader in the revolution. Cultural and historical context. Bonifacio, ang Unang Pangulo, is set in the late 19th century. A very important era in the history of the Philippines wherein the country aims to gain independence from the Spanish regime. The film allows the audience a view of the socio-political setting of that period, the influence of the Spanish colonial government and the growing nationalism embraced by the Filipinos. 5. Documentaries. Description: those types of non-fiction films that capture real events, people, or issues. Cultural influence. Documentaries showcase special aspects of Southeast Asian life, such as social problems, ecological issues, and cultural features in detail. Subjects and themes. Common themes involve social justice, environmental protection, and cultural heritage. Concepts and techniques. Documentaries prevail over concepts and techniques such as interviews, observational footage, and archival footage. Such documentaries use documentary techniques such as direct cinema and participatory styles of filmmaking to present a bias-free account of the subject matter. Mamang, 2017, Philippines, is a Filipino documentary film directed by Nono Ramirez. The film explores the life and practices of Mamang, a well-respected traditional healer in the Philippines. It provides a deep look into her traditional methods and the cultural significance of her work. Key themes: traditional medicine. This film will show the viewer a little bit about traditional Filipino herbal medicine and what purpose healers have within the local community. Cultural heritage. It brings to the fore the need for retention of cultural and traditional practices in the face of modernization and globalization. Community and healing. The film discusses the implications of Mamang's work for her community and the emphasis given to, and practice of, traditional healing. Social and cultural background. It would be set in the Philippines, where there are still various cultural medical approaches practiced and adapted by many communities. Mamang would be a peep into this and how it is important. 6. Animation films. Description: animation films are those realized through animation techniques, from traditional hand-drawn to computer-generated imagery. Cultural influences. Animated films often reflect folklore, mythology, traditional art forms, and influences. Examples range from Kubo and the Two Strings, a co-production with Southeast Asia that applies Japanese traditional approaches to storytelling. Subjects and themes. Themes can be as fanciful and fantastic or as deeply cultural in origin, such as myths and legends. The Night Watchman by Vietnam uses animation to explore local myths. Concept and technique. Animation allows one to express his or her idea and tell a story in a visual way. Techniques used are frame-by-frame, CG, stop motion, or integrating traditional art styles with storytelling methods. Raya and the Last Dragon, 2021. While this Disney movie wasn't produced in Southeast Asia, it really draws from the cultural and mythological elements of the region. Indeed, it is noted for its vivid animation and enlightenment with rich storytelling from the influences of Southeast Asian cultures. This animated film tells the story of Raya, a young strong-willed warrior who has taken up the effort to find the last dragon, Sisu, with the hope of gathering the fractured pieces of land back together under one unitary land of Kamandra. Cultural reflection. Raya and the Last Dragon, is inspired by Southeast Asian cultures and incorporates elements from various countries in the region. It highlights themes of unity, trust, and the importance of community, reflecting the shared values of Southeast Asian societies. Themes, techniques, and practices. Themes in animated films often include morality tales, folklore, and the celebration of cultural heritage. Techniques include digital animation, vibrant visuals, and the use of traditional motifs and symbols. Reflection questions. How does contemporary Southeast Asian animation combine traditional and modern elements? How does this help preserve culture while reaching a wider audience? What challenges do Southeast Asian filmmakers face, such as censorship or political restrictions? How might these challenges affect their films, and what can be done to address them? Assessment. Instruction: choose the correct answer for each question. 5 items. 1. Which of the following is a characteristic of contemporary Southeast Asian animation? A. Heavy reliance on traditional folklore. B. Minimal use of digital technology. C. Fusion of traditional and modern elements. D. Focus on global rather than regional stories. 2. How do Southeast Asian films typically portray societal issues? A. Through exaggerated and unrealistic scenarios. B. By incorporating Western ideals. C. By reflecting real-life struggles and cultural values. D. By avoiding controversial topics. 3. How does the use of surreal imagery and horror in A Man Trembles help explore the protagonist's emotional and psychological state? A. It adds humor to the film. B. It shows the protagonist's feelings of isolation and despair. C. It focuses only on traditional horror for entertainment. D. It depicts the protagonist's life in a realistic way. 4. In contemporary Southeast Asian animation, what is often highlighted through the narratives? A. Historical conflicts between nations. B. Individualism and self-expression. C. Communal values and family ties. D. High-tech futuristic societies. 5. What is one way in which Southeast Asian filmmakers incorporate cultural elements into their work? A. By using English as the primary language. B. By adapting Western comic books. C. By infusing traditional music and attire into modern stories. D. By focusing solely on special effects. Performance task. Create a short film. Task overview. Create a short film, 3 to 5 minutes, that explores a theme relevant to contemporary Southeast Asian animation or film. Your film should incorporate cultural elements and use either animation or live-action techniques. Steps to complete the task. Choose a theme. Select a theme from contemporary Southeast Asian film and animation, example: aging, cultural heritage, social issues. Plan your film. Write a brief script or storyboard outlining the plot, characters, and key scenes. Produce the film. Film or animate your short film according to your plan. Edit and review. Edit your film to ensure it conveys the chosen theme clearly and effectively. Submit. Share your final film with your class or group. Rubrics for evaluation. Theme relevance, creativity and originality, technical quality, cultural elements, engagement and impact. Thank you for watching.